Welcome into our McPherson College Coaches Show as we are back from the Thanksgiving break and back and ready for some basketball coming up tonight from inside the Sports Center. I'm Jim Joyner, and this is, of course, the most popular man in McPherson, Steve Sell. Steve, we had a nice Thanksgiving break, and now time to dig back in to a doubleheader of basketball tonight and on Saturday here at home.
Yeah, and we got two Bulldog teams that are playing great basketball right now. They're coming up; both of them are coming off back-to-back road wins at York and St. Mary. Did a good job in those games, and both teams with winning records. The MAC men now 7-3, the women 7-5, the MAC men 4-2 in the conference, and the women 3-3.
Well, let's get into it, Steve. We have a loaded show. We have Coach Nichols. We have Coach Eskildson as we get a little recap for them, as well as a couple different players on, and Haley Hurst and Lual Magath. So a big, exciting show. You ready?
Let's do it.
Buckle up.
Let's do it.
Starting off our McPherson College Coaches Show tonight, we are joined by men's basketball coach T.J. Eskildson after a really great week last week. Well, Tuesday going on the road and playing at York before the Thanksgiving holiday, and then earlier this week on Monday going up to St. Mary and winning 72-61. Those are two really nice wins for this program against two teams that are in the top half of this conference, and especially two wins on the road against those teams.
Yeah, anytime you can get road wins in conference, that's big. We haven't won up at St. Mary's in 6 years, so that was a really good win for us. And obviously going up to York, they're both two really talented teams. St. Mary's was coming off beating Ottawa at home. Ottawa's at the top of the league, number 12 in the country, and I feel like our guys are. They're playing as hard as they did before, and we're starting to execute some things a little bit better, so hopefully we can keep it up.
Comparing to last year with some of the games like you won in the last week, going up to York and going up to St. Mary and finding ways to win, it felt like last year at times you almost found ways to lose some games like that where you just couldn't find the way to finish down the stretch. What's been the difference this year in winning some of those games like we saw against Southwestern last time you were at home?
I think that just having guys with a year's more of experience and guys playing with confidence, I think our guys right now are approaching games and expecting to win and instead of just hoping to win. I mean, I think we respect every opponent we have, but I think our guys are starting to take that mentality that we can beat anybody, and it's not a surprise when we're up late in the game or we're right in a game. So hopefully we can keep that up.
And I've always said a barometer of this team is Dorian Page. He's your point guard. He controls the game. He's taken over the Southwestern game. He kind of took over at the end, but he gives you that maturity, that experience out there. He's an older guy. But, you look at last year, you were off to a good start last year, and then he got hurt.
Yep.
So it really seems him being on the floor is a real key.
It's helped a lot. I mean, it's just and that's something going into the year. I felt like our point guard position, that was one of the positions where we're as good as anybody in the league, I feel like. I mean, up at St. Mary's, Doran only played about 13 minutes. Josh Rivers played 26 minutes. And it had nothing to do with how Doran was playing. Josh was just playing really, really well. And I feel like that position is a huge position for us, especially because we want to run. They have the ball in their hands and have to make decisions on the fly. And having Dorian here and healthy right now has been really big for us.
And another thing, you've established a 10-man rotation, and your guys kind of know when they're going to come in, and it just seems like the chemistry is so good right now, and the guys are getting along. They're playing unselfish basketball. I think another guy that kind of epitomizes that is Delvon Hightower. Yep. I always say he's got the old man game. I always talk about that. But you've got guys on the floor now that, they look for their shot, but if they see another guy open, they pass that up for a better shot.
Yeah, and we've had a lot of unselfishness with our group when it comes to shots and when it comes to roles. Guys have just kind of they've bought in, and that comes with our leadership from our seniors. I think they've been doing a great job of kind of them being the ones that set the tone. I mean, you got guys, seniors who maybe aren't playing as many minutes as they have in the past, and have accepted that role and are fulfilling that role to the best of their abilities. And kind of like with Josh in that St. Mary's game, from game to game, we may have a guy play 15 minutes one game and then play 25 because he played really well. But our guys are just supporting each other and they're playing for each other. And I think that's the sign of a team that could be really good.
Well, when it comes to your two games this week, you have Sterling tonight, who is 0-6 in the conference so far, and then Oklahoma Wesleyan, who is not the same as it was last year when it went 22-2 in the conference, but is still a very good team coming up on Saturday. What are you looking ahead to this week, and especially tonight with Sterling?
Yeah, Sterling hasn't won a game in conference yet, but they've been in every game. They really want to get up and down the floor. They've got two guys, Isaac Ostrowski and Jemiah Wyndham-Hayes, who have been starting their whole careers there, that have been through the conference before, and they're a team that we definitely can't take lightly. We need to be ready to play, need to be ready to compete and play at a high level. Oklahoma Wesleyan on Saturday, Coach Bostwick always does a great job. I mean, they're really young this year compared to what they were last year, and they're a little bit different athletically, but they're still a top program in the country. I mean, they know how to win, and obviously these are going to be two good tests for our group again this week.
Well, you're riding a 3-game winning streak like now. You like to get it to 4, maybe 5 by Saturday. You look at the KCAC now. Everybody's lost a game. You guys have lost 2 games. You're just 1 game back. There's 4 teams at the top. I got a feeling it's going to be a constant shuffle in the conference this year.
No doubt. And I think that you got to take every game 1 game at a time. The next game ahead. So Sterling tonight, need to focus on that, and hopefully we can get a win, and then move on to Oklahoma Wesleyan. And don't worry about what's going on with everybody else. Just worry about yourselves and take care of business.
Well, the father of dog ball, Roger Trimmel, used to always say, you got to win about all your home games and then split on the road. You're going to be right there in the top 3 every year.
No doubt. And we've been preaching to our guys. We need to protect our home floor.
Well, the one year, I think the year you were 33-4, I think you were 18-0 at home. So
exactly.
This was a very tough place to play.
No doubt.
Well, you've only got 107 conference games left before the end of the season. So this is conference game number 7, and only 107.
Yeah, you're not even a third through the schedule
100
yet.
more. Yeah.
So. Well, Coach Askelson, best of luck tonight and then Saturday as well.
All right, thanks, guys.
Sweet. Joining us now on our McPherson College Coaches Show is men's basketball player Lawal Magad, who's had a terrific senior season so far. Lawal is from the great state of Arizona, and today it feels a little bit more like Arizona, but I think last week it wasn't really feeling like home to you, maybe with the 50-mile-per-hour winds and 20-degree temperatures out there. Have you adjusted well to these McPherson temperatures?
I'm trying to adjust, but it's still really cold. So... yeah.
Well, Lawal, so far you guys are off to a 7-3 start, 4-2 in the KCAC. A lot of people are saying you guys are the surprise team. Last year you were 10-19, 6-18 in the KCAC. What's been the turnaround this year that's made you guys just go from last year to this year?
I think this year it's mainly the way we played, our offense, and just our work ethic has changed so much. Mainly because of our offense. Our offense is built toward the way we play and the way we're capable of playing, so that just has a tremendous effect on the whole game and how we've been playing every single day.
It's all about speed, and even though you're like 6'5", you're a guy that can really get up and down the floor, and you've also you're rebounding this year. This fast-paced games makes for more shots, more rebounds. You've been averaging close to a double-double this year. What is your mentality about rebounding? Is it just like every rebound's going to be mine, nobody else is going to get it, but how do you approach that?
In mind, one of the big keys that we have every game is to out-rebound every opponent. And our coach says if we out-rebound every opponent, we have a good chance of winning. And that's where I try to be my best at, is trying to get every single rebound. Because most taller guys than me are just standing there expecting the ball to come toward them. So I just swoop in there and go grab them before they even think twice.
Well, you're kind of like a pogo stick. I mean, you get off the floor real quick. But, when you look at it, you guys are probably the shortest team in the KCAC in terms of your starters. You're basically, you and Fred are about the 2 tallest guys, and then you got Delvon and Dorian and Cameron, all of them kind of in the shorter range. But rebounding is a mindset, and it's all about boxing out. And do you take that as a challenge that you're going up, like tonight, a 6'10" guy, I believe you're going up against. Is that kind of a challenge for you?
It is. It makes me want to work harder and to try to grab more rebounds than he does, and basically help my team win, because that's our key every game, is to rebound every opponent regardless of how tall they are or how big they are. So.
Well, Lawal, tell us a little bit about how you got here to McPherson, coming from Arizona and going through the JUCO path and then ending up here at Mac College. Tell us a little bit about your journey and your recruitment here to McPherson.
So it's kind of a funny story. So after high school, I went to a JUCO in Arizona. It's Tohono-O'odham Community College. It's about 45 minutes from Tucson. And after a year there, I decided to take the following year off to just to focus on myself and basketball, to get stronger, work on my game. And then after I took a year off, I went to a showcase in Phoenix during the Final Four. and I was playing, and I met Dorian at the final in the showcase, and we started playing against each other. And after the games, Coach Ez came up to me and he said, "I like the way you play. We'd love for you to come to a visit." So then a week after talking to him, he told me that if I knew of Dorian, I mean, I knew of Dorian, but we never really talked to each other. So he was like, "I'm interested in him as well." So next thing you knew, we set up a day to come here, and we both came here on the same visit, and we had a blast. And next thing you knew, me and Dorian are on the phone talking to each other about coming here, and here we are.
Well, it works out well, especially with how well you've played this year. I think Dorian has kind of fed off of that, too, and he's had a really good start to this season, has been scoring a lot of points, and for a not very tall guy, has grabbed a lot of rebounds. How have you guys complemented each other? How has he complimented you, and your game kind of helped him?
I mean, we talk to each other every single day. You know, let him know I let him know what he needs to do, and he lets me know what I need to do, and remind ourselves that we're the only one that could do whatever it takes to help our team win, and we just need to be ready every single game and just be ready to go.
Well, Lawal, it's been a fun start to the season so far, and hoping for a couple more fun wins this weekend, tonight against Sterling and then Oklahoma Wesleyan coming up on Saturday. I know you guys will be up for the test, so let's hope we can pick up 2 more wins this week.
Oh, yes, sir. We'll be ready to go. So.
Joining us now on our McPherson College Coaches Show is women's basketball player Haley Hurst, who is off to a great start this year in her sophomore year, averaging 4 points per game and 3 rebounds per game so far, but has been a really important piece for this McPherson College team coming off of the bench. Haley, what have been some of your adjustments here going from your freshman year last year to your sophomore year this year, and part of your transition and maybe your evolution of your game?
I think just being more of a leadership role on and off the court. I'd say just the growing up from freshman to sophomore, it's a big transition. I think that's the biggest transition year. So it's definitely, my confidence has definitely grown, and it's just a whole new atmosphere. I've really enjoyed it.
Coach Nichols has told us that during the offseason you worked as hard as maybe anybody on the team. It looks like you really worked hard when we watch you play in games. You've worked hard on your footwork around the basket because you just seem to have a lot of great moves in there, a lot of great finishes. Is that something you did this summer?
Thank you. Yeah, I worked a lot on post moves inside. That's always been my biggest game inside, and that was a big emphasis in high school was footwork and how to move around and know yourself and know your surroundings. So it's definitely been an emphasis of mine, especially this summer. Yeah.
Well, I want to know a little bit about your recruitment here to Mac College, because it would have been a weird time with Coach Nichols making the move from Bacone to come up to here. And he's already told us that with Mason, he called her and said, "Hey, Madison, can you come up here?" Yeah. You guys are both from Oklahoma.
He didn't say Hillary, did he?
Yeah.
No, thank goodness.
So I need to know your story on how you got here to Mac College.
Well, Mac College actually was the first person to contact me and the last place that I visited. So Coach Kenny had actually called me and wanted me to come up and visit. And I was like, I don't know, small town Kansas. I don't really know if I'm feeling that. So I visited a few other places. And I was like, you know what, I'll just go up and visit just so I don't have any regrets. Don't regret not going up there. So came up here and I instantly loved it. I loved the campus. I loved the atmosphere. Yeah, and I left and I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to sign. And then I saw on Twitter that we had gotten a new coach, and I was like, "Oh, I hope I still have a scholarship. I hope I still have a spot there." So, but yeah, so it was a weird, funky feeling, but I'm really glad I did it. I really enjoyed it.
When you play for Coach Nichols, you play a style. I don't know how your high school team was, but it is up tempo, a lot of defense. How have you adjusted to this kind of helter-skelter pace that Coach Nichols plays?
Well, I was actually really lucky. It wasn't much of an adjustment for me because I came from 6A, so it was very fast-paced. So I really enjoy it. That's my favorite way to play is fast. So I really enjoyed it.
What are you majoring in? What do you hope to do after college?
I'm a major in health science with a minor in philosophy and religion. So I hope to go into physical therapy, maybe do some study abroad stuff. So we'll see. Yeah.
What have been some of the biggest differences team-wise from last year to this year? Because I think I saw the change in this team probably middle of January last year, where this team, it felt like, really came together, and it's been on that same spot for the last almost year now. What have been some of the differences that you've seen on the women's side?
I'd say the beginning of last year was kind of a blending of all three, the recruits coming in, the ones he had brought, and the ones that were here. It was kind of all three of us trying to figure out who everybody was. And so then we finally found that groove, and so I think it's just been us getting more and more comfortable with each other. and I think it's getting more and more bonded as a team. And so I'm really excited because I think we're finally in a new groove right now, and we're about to just take off. I'm really
How much do you guys feed off of Brittany and Danielle? Because it just seems like when the ball goes up, they just clear everybody out.
Yeah.
But is that kind of rubbed off on like you and Kristen Branscombe?
Oh, for sure. I'd say their energy and their aggressive mentality has definitely rubbed off, I think. And Danny, I don't know if you've seen her before games, but she's the energy ball on our team. So
Right.
she's definitely brought on and off the floor. They bring good energy.
Well, you've got a really nice 4 kind of post rotation going there. So, with this style of play, you're going to get some minutes because there's just no way you can play that pace so fast. So you've always got to be ready to play.
Yeah. Yeah.
The most important question, which is going to start to get some people to either really like you or really not like you, OU or OSU. I mean, you're from Norman.
I mean, I'm going to have to say OSU. I know I'm going to lose a lot of friends.
There's some OU people here in town.
There are.
And all of a sudden they went, oh, she's from Norman. And then they went, oh, no, she
Yeah.
turned to the dark side.
Yeah.
Well, you need to catch up with Coach Lecker over at the high school because she played at Oklahoma State.
Yes.
And you guys can wear your orange and black together and be all joyful. But, Haley, best of luck tonight against Sterling and then
Thank you.
Oklahoma Wesleyan on Saturday.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wrapping up our McPherson College Coaches Show tonight as we get ready for Sterling and Oklahoma Wesleyan coming up, Sterling tonight and then Oklahoma Wesleyan on Saturday, is McPherson College women's basketball coach Josh Nichols. Well, it's probably about 6:25 right now, so you're in the second quarter, hopefully with about a, let's say, 21-18 lead. That sounds like a good deal to me.
Let's just go 50-0.
It's 50-0 in the second quarter.
50-0.
Well, Coach Nichols, it was a nice win for you guys on Monday, and then as well on Tuesday, back-to-back sweeps by the men's and women's teams, going up to York and winning 79-61, and then winning at St. Mary on Monday, 84-73. It's not always easy for teams to win back-to-back games, especially back-to-back road games, and it was nice for you guys to get that done these last 10 days.
Yeah, going up to York's always a difficult place to play. Especially with the time change because of the weather that they had up there. We left a couple hours earlier, changed kind of the pregame routine and everything. But kids handled it well. Got off to a little slow start and then kind of put them away after that and outscored them by a lot.
Yeah, had a couple 25-point quarters in there, but I thought a real key was York and St. Mary are 2 teams picked below you in the standings. Those are games you just can't afford to look past. You got to, you got to win those games if you want to be in the conference chase. You got to win those games against the so-called second division. And I really liked how you came out at York. 25 points in the first quarter, had a little lull there in the second, but then 25 in the third. You had that game put away. Going into the fourth quarter, you played a ton of people that game, which was always good to see too.
Yeah. We talked about halftime. We wanted to ruin their Thanksgiving, so we definitely want to come out and do that and get our pizza and then head to the bus and get home for our have a good Thanksgiving. So, and then St. Mary's, they have a tough matchup with the big girl inside, and didn't think we executed our defensive game plan very well early on in the first quarter. Once we got that solved and kind of turned it around there and took off, and again, to give St. Mary's a lot of credit, they battled back and made that game a lot closer than it probably actually was. But credit to them.
Polar opposite this week. Tonight's game, Sterling. I think they're number 16 at the last time I saw in the poll. They've won 8 in a row. They've been just obliterating conference teams. They have not had a game in single digits against a conference team. Very high scoring team. It's a game of styles. It should be a good style for you though because they play like you play. So it should be a lot of up and down. And then OW comes in here on Saturday, another team that's among the top 3 in the conference. So definitely a challenge facing you guys this week.
Yeah, and we come back from break, and that's kind of what you look forward to is these games right here. As much going on the road and playing someone like York and St. Mary's, those games make me more nervous. I'm more excited about the games coming up this week. So, these are the ones I think get your team focused a little bit more, and everyone's kind of locked into what we're trying to do to get that win.
What makes Sterling so good? I mean, they'd score a ton of points. The Comley girl, I think she played at Sterling High School and has moved on to Sterling College, but it just looks like to me they've got about 6 girls that can really, really score.
That's it, very balanced. And then, part of that balance is Comley's so good. She could probably go out and get 30 a night if she wanted to. But she's good enough to when she draws enough attention, she trusts and kicks it to those other players, and those players keep coming through. And very balanced scoring. Those top 4 all average in double figures, and then they got some kids off the bench who can come in and supplement 7, 8 points as well. So Conley makes the thing go, and if you can, you're not going to stop her. You just got to slow her down and make her earn everything, and then not overhelp on her and not allow those other kids open shots.
And last year, Sterling was just rolling along. I think they started 18-0 or something like that, and then they just kind of hit a wall in February. Kind of ran out of gas. They weren't very deep last year, but they've added some depth this year.
Yes, definitely. They're playing a full 10 deep this year, and then. What's been nice for them is they've gotten these big leads and they're able to sub and bring some other kids off the bench. So they've gotten plenty of rest this year so far early on.
It might have been hard to explain to your team at the time last year in late January and in February whenever you were in the hole in the conference, and it was pretty clear at that point you weren't going to make the tournament, but you played so many of these top teams very competitively down the stretch. And I think that gives you experience going into games like tonight against Sterling, where you've played this team whenever you were the severe underdog last year. You've played Tabor close. You've played all these teams close, and I feel like that experience at the end of last year has to go into a game like tonight.
Absolutely, and that goes to the buy-in of the team. Last year, we figured things out late and bought in. This year, we're trying to figure it out earlier, but I think we've got the buy-in now, and those experiences carry over, and I don't think there's a whole lot of fear in our team as far as they're number 16, big deal. So.
Well, you played them, I believe, was it last year you played them tough here? And we played them real tough last year.
We missed a layup at the buzzer to win it last year here.
Yeah, so I'm sure Sterling remembers that well, too.
So it should be a fun one tonight. Coach Nichols, are you still full from Thanksgiving?
No, I did not eat very much because I had the race the next day.
That's true.
And I don't want to waddle around. I wanted to finish the race and have a good time. So
no cramping in the middle of the race?
No, absolutely not.
Never.
I finished off pretty well.
Well, best of luck tonight as you continue on the KCAC basketball race.
Thank you.
Look at that.